Okay, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. It's Sunday, the 14th of September. Let's go through these charts. I'm going to show you guys how to trade this stuff and how to make some money. Okay, here we go. Very briefly, you'll see the top band. This is the daily VWAP extensions. This is the top, and the bottom is down here. Those are red. The second red is the 90-minute VWAP extension, and there's the other 90-minute VWAP extension. Okay. Now, this is let's see. This would be this is the 8th. Okay, and this is pre-market. You can see pre-market what's going on. There's other lines on here. I've got a zigzag. Okay, I've got the cyan is VPOC. Value area high up here, green, and the low would be value area low. Okay. Now, I'm kind of cheating a little bit because you can see where today's high and today's low is. Okay. There's today's high. There's today's low, and this was last Monday. Okay. So, what we've got here is I put a zigzag just so you could very clearly see what's going on. Order flow is in here. The green bars are exhaustions. The red bars are also exhaustions. The yellow is volume point of control. Okay, so what you want, so what you're looking for, okay, on either a reversal or a continuation, whichever one you want to, whichever one you're looking for, okay, is what you're looking for is you're looking for an exhaustion print. A green exhaustion print, which means a potential reversal, okay, a green exhaustion print, and a volume point of control, the yellow, which would be hopefully in the wick of that candle. This is a 6-tick range chart. Okay, these work. By the way, these work pretty much the same on any of the charts you want to go on. So, if you're using this on a Renko or a time-based chart or whatever, these work pretty much the same. I like to work on a 6-tick range chart because a 6-tick range chart will give me better openings, okay, or or better entries. Excuse me, better entries for trades. So, what do we got here? We got pre-market. As you'll see, number one, the daily bands are flat. See, where these are flat. The daily's flat. The daily's flat. Now, as it comes down, see where the 90-minute starts to flatten out. 90-minute. Here's the 90-minute high, 90-minute low. At open, it's flattening out, which basically tells me that we're going to chop. Okay, and what generally speaking. Generally, not it's a general statement that price action will trade between these 90-minute bands if they're flat, okay, until they break out. It's like the trends are trending until it's not. Well, range bound is your friend until it's not, okay, until it breaks out, okay. So pre-market, I think I took basically along down here. You can see where it comes down and then come back up. Once it exits, you're following that 90-minute cloud down right here. Okay. Now, once it exits to the upside, okay, that's any time in here where what I'm looking for. If I exit here, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a green exhaustion print down here, hopefully within a wick. Now, if these are two together, it makes it strong right there. So, I would have wanted to exit there. I wanted to enter here at 97.75. My target would be up here, either that 3-day value area high or the top of the top of that 90-minute, the bottom of that 90-minute zone here, right here, which would have been at this particular point. The closest thing would be here. I don't like to shoot the moon and say, well, it's all going to come all the way back up here. You don't know that. So to be conservative, put your money in your pocket. I would take the closest target here would be value area high. So you got to target value area high 3-day, which, if you'll look right behind here, let me scroll. Oh, well, you can't see it. There you go. That is the midnight value area high right there, which is right below that 3-day VPOC. Okay. So what you could do, you could use that as a target. You could use right above it as a target right there, which is that 3-day value area high. So here would be a great pre-market trade. Here's one back over here where you've got, what you're looking for is you've got a red exhaustion to the upside at a major level. Something major like 2-day value. I think this is 2-day value area high on this chart. 2 or 3-day usually does not make a tremendous amount of difference. So I had a short here. Okay, I could have ridden it down all the way down here until I broke out of the cloud. You could break out of the cloud, but it didn't go anywhere. Break out of the cloud, didn't go anywhere, and you've got that VPOC right above you, right there. Okay, well, here's what happened. What was the change of behavior right here? Change of state was that 3-day VPOC, 2-day VPOC, moved down. Okay, when you have a VPOC shift, it's usually significant. And what happens is usually when you have a VPOC up here above price action, it's supporting the downside move. So if you wanted to be really, really safe and you miss that move right there, wait until price action gives you order flow, that exhaustion at that VPOC. Okay, which means there's no more buyers there. It's a seller, and then the seller's popped in right there. You could have taken it there. You could have taken it there. So you're looking for red for the short, green for the long. So you have a short there, comes all the way back down, exits, and see it exits the. You can see it where you get a long, but it exits a long, but you're immediately running into that daily VWAP. So not a great trade, okay? And you still got this thing to contend with. But now, on this bar here, right here, what happened? You had that VPOC shift. When you have a VPOC shift down, it generally, not always, but generally means that it's supporting upside move. So what happens, generally speaking, is that you'll go through, and then probably on the same bar, the next bar, you'll get an exhaustion print to the downside. See that green exhaustion print? Now, what's interesting is, see that green exhaustion print right there at 97.75? They're together. Okay, what that means is that there was no more sellers at that price. Push down one more. Now you can see there's no wick there. Okay, right? So that's telling me that this price action is not done yet. Next bar, you got a wick. Okay, here it is. It opened there, pushed down. They tried to sell it off. That was the last gasp of the sellers, and here we go. Boom, and you bought it. So anywhere in here, if you're careful, you could have taken it. You could have taken it at when this printed within the cloud. Okay. You could have taken that green bar when the green bar printed within the cloud. Not the green bar, but I'm sorry, the green exhaustion print. The green exhaustion print printed within the cloud, that 90-minute VWAP cloud. Boom. Or the safer move, because you don't know, because you've got green ones here and it didn't go anywhere. Green there, didn't go anywhere. Green there, didn't go anywhere. Some green there, didn't go anywhere. Okay. So you want that safe move, okay? Now, you could have tried this, but generally speaking, price is going to generally bounce between these resistance and support, whatever you want to call them, supply and demand, premium and discount pricing, whatever you want to call them. Price is going to, generally speaking, bounce between these. And then it's going to bounce between these 90-minute clouds. Structure is up here. Here's your value area high, right here, the green dotted line. So here's your short, your long, which you haven't come down here. and of course with today's high you're not. You probably already come down before you've already come down, or sorry, today's low. You've already come down in pre-market. There's your Globex low right there. So you've already come down. You've already made a new low, or another low on the day. Okay, you've already made your low. So where are you going to go? Upside. So see this where the daily is angling up. Then this guy's angling up. It's pretty flat here, right? But this is still angling up. So I would be still biased to the long side. Okay, even though it did not come down, biased to the long side. So I've got that here. You could have taken that the reversal right up here. Here's your target. That was 65.08. Okay. Once you get order flow up here that says at that value area high, 2-day value area high, you could say, okay, fine, I'm short. Unfortunately, it didn't hit the cloud, right? So sometimes price action will stay within these clouds. Price action, sometimes it won't. And you have to kind of take a look at these and eyeball them for a while to see how, on your particular market, see how price action is going to respect those. Okay. So now, what happens? So you might even have been in a short. Took the short up here. Okay. I've got another video on my website that shows when you have this, when you make a new value area high, generally speaking, price action will reverse, at least for a little while. Might not come down too far because the buyers might step in at another point. In fact, you can see where the buyer stepped in right there, which is a higher point than here. So the buyer stepped in, but generally speaking, that's where I would have taken, once I go beyond that value area high or beyond the value area low, that's where I would have taken my short. I would have taken that short at 65.08. Okay, so as it made a new value area high, started coming down, 65.08, boom. Anything below 65.08 I would have taken as a short. Where am I going? Well, I don't know. There's London open right there. There's midnight open right there. There's RTH open right there. What happens? I came down, came back up, came down, and then right one tick above London open, I got a green exhaustion print. That's a selling exhaustion. I labeled them green and red because green means long, red means short. Instead of having you remember, well, that's buying or selling exhaustion. Green means long, red means short. Okay, so that's a significant. London Open is a significant level. Okay, here's my midnight. Here's my London low. Here's my midnight value area low down here. Value area high for midnight right here, and you can put Globex on there too. I've got another chart with Globex, value area high, value area low, VWAP and VPOC, because those tend to be, I watch those four levels because, especially in the previous session, because those tend to be significant until RTH session finds its footing and determines where it wants to go. You will notice that a lot of the times the market will rely on these value area high, value area low, and VWAP and VPOC levels, okay, to act as channel markers until it makes its own in the RTH first part of the RTH session. Okay, so if you wanted to, okay, well here's your long. Well, here's a perfect. Look at that perfect short right there. You got a selling exhaustion at that 2-day value area high. Okay, and it's coming out of that flat 90-minute cloud. What are you going to do? Well, that's a pretty obvious short. That's a great short there. So, not taking these exhaustion prints, because there's tons of them. There's exhaustion prints on pretty much every candle. Okay, so exhaustion prints and VPOCs and all that, I would not take those unless it hit a significant level, like up into the cloud, reject, down into the cloud, reject. Here's one, the reject here, So here to here, perfect trade. That's going from 65.0875 to, where's that exhaustion print? 64.9875. Okay, that's 10 points right there. That's $500. Boom! So you just made $500 for the day per contract. If you wanted to trade more contracts, cool. Made more money. Okay. Now, if you wanted to go long here, you could. Okay, but once I started seeing that exhaustion print at the top, and I saw that lower high right there, what does that mean? Lower high, trend reversal. Higher low, trend reversal. Lower high, trend reversal. It could be very, very short term, but it is a trend reversal. Okay? But look, these things are flat. Look at those guys. They're flat. We're rotating around that 90-minute VWAP. Okay? But see where the VWAP is? The daily VWAP? That daily VWAP is turning red and green. That's another indication you're in chop. You're just range bound between these two bands right there. See the 90-minute top, 90-minute bottom. You're just going to go bouncing back and forth between those guys. Okay? You might not hit them exactly on the upside or the downside, but those flat bands plus the red and green daily VWAP, that pretty much and the 90, that pretty much means that you're in chop. Okay? So down here, it comes into the cloud, right? Bounces off, comes back up, RTH open. There's a look above and failed, RTH open, look above and failed, RTH open. Okay? Comes back up, just touches the cloud, and then comes back down. Okay? There's midnight open, there's London open. You already bounced off London open once. So everything's flat. So what you could do is you just work these rotations. I mean, there's, you've got between, even if you did take that pre-market trade that I pointed out, that's okay. I mean, you've got $500 rotations there, 10 points up, 10 points down, 10 points up, 10 points down. Okay? Now we see it bounced off. See where it's been rejecting off of, and by the way, there's a really great there's the left shoulder there, then the right shoulder coming down. Very, very good. So what you target is that down there. From that shoulder, you target the last low. So I would target the last low, or target the cloud, anywhere in that cloud. Now, see what happened right here? It came back down to the maximum extension, and then turned around, had a little bit of chop here, and then came back out of that cloud. Okay, what happened? There we go. There's your target right there, 65.0875 to the upside, right? Yeah, there was your shift from 65.750, 65.08. 75. Yeah, 65.0875. Okay. Now we had another shift. Look at that. Now, back down, resistance. See where that resistance was? The RTH open, resistance. Resistance, now it's going to become support. Very classic move. Support, boom. Round to the upside, boom. And of course, up to today's high. And 10 o'clock. It keeps bouncing along, and then you just ran into it. See where these clouds merged right there? The 90-minute and the daily cloud. And the 90-minute popped above the cloud. Okay. When these guys start merging like that and then start diverging, that's when I start looking for reversals. That will give me a decent trade. So what did we have here? Higher high. We basically had a double top right here. Okay, double tops at value area high and value area low. Double top at value area high. Double bottom at value area low. those are pretty much money-making trades. You'll get at least 10 points out of those, sometimes more. And as you can see, if you took it and took the just wrote it down, into that cloud. Now, let's see what else. What else do I want to show you guys? That's Monday. Okay. Then you came back down. 2 of these in a row are significant because see it two of these at the same price level, VPOC, and then you had, I believe you had an exhaustion. I can't really tell behind that, but it might have been a green bar there. I don't know. And then it just reversed out of that. See, come back out, reversed, not reversed, but came back out, pull back a little bit, and then once it exited the cloud, another good 10-point trade. Okay? So if you look at these charts and you get an idea, and some of these other ones, some of the other ones that Matt's got, some of the stuff that Matt's got is really, really good. These, I'm just showing you guys the basics. You can use this with anything. You can use these with initial balance levels, which I've got. I took them off this chart. I hit them on this chart because I didn't want to, clutter up everything. I just wanted to show you guys how you can trade once these guys flatten out. See where they're flat? It's not a great exit. It's not a great exit signal, or it's not a good. How shall I put it? It's not necessarily. It is a determination that you're gonna go back up. The problem is that it comes on late. Okay, these clouds form. See where it starts. See where it flattens out here. It's relatively nice and sharp, and you're following it down. You're trading this thing. You're following it down. And then you get this. Well, here's the pullback. You're below the daily cloud. You probably would have gotten out. You might have gotten out up in here somewhere. Okay, you're pulling back into the cloud. Your stop loss has got to be. Oh, and I thought today's low was back there, but it wasn't. Okay. Anyway, so today's low is here. You're pulling back. Obviously, buyers came in here. So see where these clouds merged. I'm looking for reversals. You just made a low down here. Of course, you didn't know that at the time, but you came down and you started exiting that daily cloud right there. Boom, that's another one. As I recall, Monday was pretty choppy. So Monday's choppy. Then Tuesday. See where it's going now. Now we come back up to the daily VWAP. Right now, as you can see, let me scroll back a little bit. As we were screwing around, rotating around daily VWAP, which was way back here. Let's see, that was 10 o'clock. We're rotating around the daily VWAP, 90-minute VWAP. And then, and there was your daily VWAP there. Turn green. Once that turns green, you'll usually, not always, you'll usually get a pullback. And that's a pretty reliable signal. If you get a pullback to daily VWAP, like a green daily VWAP, I'll take that trade every day of the week. Okay, you come up here somewhere, you pull back to a green daily VWAP or a 90-minute VWAP right here, which are pretty close together, and it bounces off to the upside. Man, I'll take that trade any day of the week. Okay, if you'd been in down here, of course you wouldn't have to worry about it because it's going to, you know if that's going to be a pullback trade. So first, you're going to hit that 90-minute or the daily VWAP, and it's you could do that a couple of times. After that, it's problematic whether it's going to go through or not. But the first time it pulls back, second time it pulls back, it's going to be pretty much a done deal that it's going to bounce off. Okay, now here. Here's your 90-minute. There's your daily VWAP. Look below and fail. So that's good for another 10 points. But you see where it's starting to, like I said, when you pull back. Now we pull back to the 90-minute VWAP. The daily and the 90-minute VWAP have separated a bit. So now you have a look above and fail on the 90-minute VWAP. It's coming down. Okay, and then that's where you came down. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. And that's where it came down. You bounced off that daily VWAP right here, right up here. Look above and fail right there. You can see the VPOC, the volume point of control was there. That's where obviously it's where the seller stepped in. Pull back, you know, and then down to the upside, and then there we go. Boom, there's a nice, any of these. And you have to be careful because a lot of the VWAP trading, a lot of institutions will come back up and retest that daily VWAP. It's not a stop run. What it is that these guys are reloading their downside. The daily VWAP, they come up here. Say for example, they're short here. They come up here. Well, I'm selling another contract. Come back up here, it's red, I'm going to sell another contract. Come back up here, it's red, I'm going to sell another contract. Okay? And then here we go down to the downside. You made your low for the day. These clouds are starting to converge. So I'm looking for something else to the upside. So I'm unloading my shorts and then going back long. And hitting up here, daily VWAP, I go short again, boom. So these rotations are absolutely beautiful. And if you look at these charts long enough, you'll start seeing these. Look at that. Look above and fail. Did not reach that 90-minute VWAP cloud. Okay, whoops, there we go. Did not reach it. Came back down to the 90-minute VWAP right there. Came through it. Came back down, tapped it, went to the upside. I'll take that trade any day of the week. Okay? And then you're at the end of the day. Okay? So Mondays, Tuesdays, let's see what we got. See if we can find a nice trending day for you, because this was a little choppy, Mondays and Tuesdays. That was last week's. And you can see, by the way, this chart is available. These are, this isn't really a big deal. I got a zigzag study on here. I don't even have prices on those zigzag because I don't really care. I'm looking for lower high. I'm looking for lower highs and higher lows for a trend change, and also looking at those at these major levels like a daily VWAP, midnight open, London open, RTH open, to see whether am I going to get order flow there that says that the big boys are coming in, or at least somebody's coming in of substantial size, and either buying or selling those levels. Okay, and this is the problem with price action. Price action doesn't always tell you this. Price action isn't always very clear. Order flow really, really, really helps. Okay, you can really help to see what's going on. So here we go. Here we go. There's my old friend. There's a value very low. Okay, that might have been from Friday. That's already been made. So anyway, I would not say once we're trading above value low, I wouldn't say favor longs, because you can't. If all you're doing is favoring longs, then like I showed you, you're going to be missing out on a lot of trades. Okay. But as you can see, just scrolling through these charts, look at that. The bottom of the cloud, again, there's a red buying exhaustion right there. Boom. Here you go. Boom. Green selling exhaustion. Boom. That is at, what about that? 65.12.25. Right down to 65.03. So almost a 10-point move. That's almost a $500 move right there, and you can see it's pretty reliable. The clouds, the 90-minute clouds are flat. The daily cloud is, it's angling down, but these things are still pretty flat. So you still would be looking for that until see where they start to merge. So there's a higher low. If you're looking for a trade, you're looking for the higher low. You're right above that 90-minute bottom cloud. You've already bounced off of it, off the daily and off the bottom where we're going to go up. Okay, where's your target? All right, you could take it off at RTH open, or take it off at the 90-minute VWAP or the daily VWAP, or you could just wait and look for order flow, at or up, up into the cloud. Now, what's interesting is that you see a look above and fail at midnight open right there, right above the cloud, which comes right back down. Okay, now here's a bunch of stuff that's together. Okay, generally speaking, you're going to get a reversal, but again, as you can see, not always. Okay, now we start selling off big time. Okay, so what happened? Came down. All these prices here were together, saying, no, we're not. And then what did somebody do? Somebody came back up to that VPOC and sold it. The result of that was you could have taken there's your downside move, pull back to that 90-minute VWAP and down. Pull back to that VPOC and down. Nicely done, market. Nicely done. So, if you want to take stop outs, if you're going to take a stop out, this will not keep you out of stop runs. These will not keep you out of getting stopped out. Especially, unless you want to keep your stops pretty far back. But I don't like to do that. I would rather take a small stop out than a big one, because a big one is going to be a little bit harder to recover from. So, my stops generally are at like the bottoms of the previous tops or bottoms of previous candles, which means my stops are 4 to 8 ticks, sometimes less. Okay, now let's talk about patterns. Is there any patterns that you notice with this stuff? Number one is a VPOC, a volume point of control for a candle VPOC in a wick right there, coming down, and then you get that within a wick right there. Boom, nice reversal trade. Okay, you'll see a VPOC within a wick. You'll see a selling exhaustion, which is that green bar, which obviously was behind. That was probably behind that the VPOC, the volume point of control, and then up we go. So here's a higher low, pull back, and then right back up. Double top at that 90-minute VWAP, comes back down for a bit, reverses. See the reversal candle right there? Nice reversal candle. You're seeing red, and then all of a sudden you see this green candle with that stuff in the wick. Boom, and then it reverses. So that's a good, reliable indication that you're going to have a reversal. Looking for those reversal candles. So look for those if you're trading on a Renko chart or you're trading on another time-based chart or whatever. This stuff still works fine. You just got to get used to whatever chart you're running on. Okay. So what am I looking at? Okay. Now all of a sudden, see where these clouds merge? These clouds merge, okay? I'm looking at these upside. These clouds merged up down here, okay? I've been trading the long side, right? I hit that, and I'm targeting VWAP, right? Well, eventually that's not going to hold, right? Well, see, where was the high of that move right there at VWAP? The high of the move right there is right above VWAP, daily VWAP. The high is substantially above VWAP. So what am I looking for? I'm seeing a change of character, or whatever the ICT people would call that. Okay. Institutional traders will also call that a change of character. I think that's where they got it. But see the reversal signal within the cloud, boom, down. So you're looking for, other things. Now, reversal candle here, and you went right through it. So you were making higher highs, but daily VWAP wasn't doing much of anything. It was just sitting there, and price action was going farther and farther above it. Now, you see you're making higher highs and higher lows, higher low there, okay? And it's no longer rotating above. It's no longer rotating to the downside at VWAP. Now, here's your reversal. Boom. And let's see, you're coming up into 2 o'clock. So you're looking at, see where these clouds are, but look how sharp that 90-minute cloud is. That 90-minute cloud is, I'm still to the upside. Okay, I'm still supporting to the upside. This is just the squeeze right here. See, then squeeze, and then bam, still more to the upside. Okay, till the end of the day. There we go. Anyway, if you take these charts and look at them, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, here's the pullback to London Open. Okay, you targeted this on the long side. Pull back to London Open, targeted that on the downside, or sorry, on the upside. And that was, right before market close. Market closes at 5 Eastern time. Generally speaking, if you don't have enough margin, they want you to be out. Most brokers want you to be out 15 minutes beforehand, which should be 5:15. Unless you get a lot of money on your account, and you can hold it. Okay, so here we go. Now, look at that, man. They bought that up till the end of the flipping day. Okay, look at that, and then this was during Globex. Globex is good to trade too because you'll see a lot of respect for these levels. See, for example, now you have a value area high and value area low. This was Tuesday. Now you have a value area high and value area low Tuesday at the end of the day. Now you can sit here and trade that. Say, for example, value area low right there. You can take the trade. And then here we go. And this is, I think this was the big upside move. Day. Okay. So see where it's generally following the cloud and then hitting value area high and pulling back, making a higher low. Value area high. There's this. Value area high, higher low. Value area, a different value area high. Higher low. Different value area high. It's pushing it up, and then all of a sudden, boom, the floor falls out from underneath it, comes back down in here. And then you're looking at, that is value area low for midnight. Midnight value area low is here. It starts bouncing off that, coming down, trying to push lower than that. Buy it up. I'd say buy it, baby. Then it came down to, what is that? Okay, the midnight VWAP. Came over here, came down to midnight VWAP, bounced, and then it just took off. I mean, you got a little chop, but you're running right over that value area high, right? I mean, it's obviously pretty obviously a buyer's market there. And then almost at the end of the day, this was almost at the end of Globex at 8:30, you top out, right? And then you come down. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. Hope you can see the structure on these charts and know what to look for on these charts. There we go. And hopefully hope to trade maybe Globex. Maybe I'll see you guys, trading Globex, which is kind of fun. It is enjoyable. I enjoy trading Globex and scalping it, and here's one at that VPOC right there. Get out of that long. Flip to a short if you want to. once you've gone past that, anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording now. And hopefully you learned something. See you guys.